name is Nicolas, founder of MetaGameHub DAO on a mission to foster decentralization. And yeah, today I'll talk to you a bit about what MetaGameHub DAO is and how we're shaping the metaverse. But before, I have a general, let's say, more rhetorical question, right? Do you really know how to invest, build, or experience the metaverse? Well, according to a recent survey, around 38% of people globally, at least, are familiar with the metaverse term, right? However, only 1 in 3 actually is able to properly define what the metaverse means, which shows the omnipresent lack with adoption that we have, right? And that's why it's so crucial to provide holistic end-to-end solutions that foster and push the metaverse adoption forward. And that's really our journey with MetaGameHub DAO, where, I don't know, the slides, guys, they're not moving. Okay, perfect. That's why that's how we do it, by providing a platform for investing and building in the metaverse, right? So a holistic end-to-end solution that supports the entire life cycle. I'll jump into the details in a second. Yeah, it's still not moving, guys. Yeah. So generally, the metaverse has a huge problem with adoption, right? And that's because the metaverse itself is still inaccessible to people. And it becomes obvious when we ask people on the street, right, like what is the metaverse, define what the metaverse is. The statistics prove it as well, and generally the lack of accessibility, right? And in the metaverse itself, it all revolves around lands, right, as the core infrastructure pillar. So you can compare lands a little bit to, let's say, yeah, a domain, right, in Web 2, a website, an app, right, that you utilize, so to say, quote unquote, to engage with the internet. And when it comes to lands in the metaverse, probably you've heard about the hypes around lands, right? And they're really that core pillar in which we access it, in which we invest, in which we build. However, it is hard to acquire land currently, right? So there's over 600,000 different lands out there with only a couple thousand users, first of all, right? That's another issue, but so it's generally hard to build on top of these lands. It's hard to invest on top of these lands. Building takes on average over 300 hours, right, per single plot of land at least, after you've managed to purchase it. So that also shows another issue. And apart from that, there's still an omnipresent lack of engagement with roughly around 260,000 monthly active users in the top metaverses, right, if you wish. And also virtual worlds are very siloed, so they're not connected with each other. There's 10 plus different blockchains. There's 160 plus different virtual worlds, so it's really inaccessible. And if we did another Web 2 comparison with the websites, right, it would be kind of like not knowing how to acquire your domain. It's not knowing how to build or host a website on top of it, nor being able to actually have users there, right? And that's not how you get adoption in this space. And yes, there has been a good hype, but in terms of actual utility, it's just been very, very slow, right? And these are the main issues. And when it comes to basically, MetaGameHub DAO and what we're doing and how we're aiming to solve this is by providing a one-stop shop for brands and creators, holistically supporting the entire journey, right? From investing to building to experiencing, and here really providing that holistic end-to-end support as a platform, right? So you could compare it even to like a Google, right, in the metaverse, really. From the investment part, it all starts with a heat map, which you can see here, that serves kind of as a funnel. You can compare it even to a search engine or something where you have an aggregated overview of the different virtual worlds. Complementary to this, we have different metaverse analytics, right, that help you manage your portfolio, have better insights on your lands, on other related NFTs, on the traffic, and other features around that, right? It even helps you to find undervalued lands, for instance, so you could compare it to like a booking.com or something in the metaverse. Then apart from that, we also, of course, assert all the data and integrate it into B2B marketplaces and platforms, right? So on the one hand, off-chain integrations via, for instance, via API access into marketplaces, like the Sandbox, for instance, which we are currently doing. And on the other hand, on-chain integrations via Chainlink Oracle that we're hosting for DeFi protocols to even leverage this data within the ecosystem, right? And that allows also the further financialization of lands. Apart from that, from the billing part, that's really the core pillar, right? And we also have here some of our meta development team here sitting. So if you have any questions regarding building in a metaverse, they're the right people to speak with. We also have our stand there. But in terms of building, our core vision is really to provide plug and play metaverse building, right? Because you've seen it's still inaccessible to build that infrastructure, and that's why you need that plug and play building across the different worlds, right? And that's one of the core pillars that we start with, because the building part focuses specifically on scenes, right? So scenes is like the first step before or when creating an experience. Complementary to this, our amazing team is then on top of these scenes creating retentive experiences, right? So these experiences basically focus on user engagement and that respective, of course, associated retentiveness that it comes with. And that helps you actually keep people there, because right now often you have like the issue that people go to a land once because there's like one specific event, but then why should they come back, right? I mean, we always come back to the same apps, to the same websites, but so far that's not the case in terms of lands, and that's really something that needs to be solved, whether it's through mini games, quests, engaging experiences, or also just commerce that takes place on the land, right? So there's a lot of different opportunities also for brands and creators. For instance, imagine an AI bot representing like a brand, right? So a chat bot as an avatar in a metaverse and things like this. So that's different opportunities, and that really just kind of push and make the experience more vibrant. And apart from that, we also help with the monetization, of course, across the different spectrum of NFT marketplaces, where eventually with the different analytics that we have, we even want to aggregate them, let's say like Skyscanner is aggregating flights, right? So you have a much better overview of your assets, but that's something a bit more for the future. So after the investing and building is done, it all comes down to experiencing, right? So in terms of experiencing in general, it can be said that MetaGameHub DAO is co-creating different experiences together with brands, IP, as well as communities. And here, one of our core features is actually also establishing metaverse sustainability standards, right? So we, for instance, done the first sustainable metaverse event, and also have other features that we're currently engaging with different partners like Metaverse, like Mental Protocol, right, in regards to actually pushing that sustainability forward. Then we have a unique Metaverse loyalty module. You can imagine kind of your avatar, where you then connect through different APIs to platforms and you collect these loyalty points, whether this is Twitter, whether this is Decentraland, Sandbox, or something else, right? That's really, let's say, something where we see a lot of traction specifically from brands and IP to leverage this, but of course also beyond. And it's very tangible for people to understand, right? Because we are not talking about NFTs or something, we're talking about just loyalty points. And the last part is actually that we co-create different digital experiences, like you can see here. I'm also wearing the jacket from one of our sub-brands called Espacio Creador. It's an artist ecosystem for Latin American artists and fashion brands to enter Web3. And we did like the first digital drop. And as you can see, you have the jacket there in real life, also here. And you also have it in Decentraland, for instance, plus an AR activation here on the back, which if you're interested, I can show you after. And yeah, it's really about, again, that holistic, right, approach, where we're not just focusing on one specific aspect, right? Because at the end of the day, the metaverse is just the front end of the next internet engagement, right? So to say. And therefore, we really want to be that one-stop shop in that ecosystem. Again, some issues here. In terms of product releases, right, we've so far released a couple of different products. We launched our evaluation interface, which you've seen. We launched our Chainlink Oracle. We did integrations into the Ocean Protocol marketplace. In terms of our data sets, we launched DCL Edit as the first iteration of our plug-and-play builder. And we also launched our DAO portfolio, right, where we have different assets in our treasury, which we then co-create together with different partners and IP on top of these experiences. And sorry guys, I don't know, this does not seem to really be working. In terms of traction, I mean, we have over 150,000 requests on our evaluation interface. We have over 1,000 developers already utilizing our DCL edit tool, right, as the go-to scene editor. So around 80% in Decentraland utilize it. We work very closely with the foundation there. We have 10,000 plus community members. We have over 10 clients already from Sandbox, also Crypto Ticker, Fitchin, it's an esports project with Aguero and others, right? So it's really for us positioning ourselves right in the convergence of different industries. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Speaking about the convergence, here it is, right? So you can see the metaverse really as that convergence between Web3 gaming and the creator economy, right? And where MetaGameHub position itself is right in the middle there, between these different industries and connecting the dots, building the bridges, right? So that's really the core focus as that one-stop shop and where we see ourselves in the market. We do have a dedicated team, right? Have good partnerships with universities. We're quite global with over 40 plus contributors in 5 plus countries, right? We have a very unique, let's say, background in terms of like the educational collabs, because I think that's something that in Web3 is often forgotten, is also when it comes to the metaverse, where basically, you know, we're always talking about onboarding the masses, but if you look at where the masses were onboarded in Web2, it's really often in universities, right? Let's say Facebook, for instance. So we have a strong focus on collaborating with universities, onboarding the young talent to the space, and really pushing the adoption forward for this. We have a strong team of advisors, right, in our ecosystem, right? It's from the legal side, entrepreneurs, founder of Ocean Protocol, Sandbox, head of DeFi at Polygon, professors, VCs. So, right, it's again about building that holistic ecosystem and not just like one part, right? And bringing the right people together from the different worlds. And yeah, we have a strong partnership ecosystem as well, right? So whenever you're looking just for partners in terms of IP or the metaverse or blockchain space, happy to also support you guys there. And yeah, I think that should have been it. The funding, I think, is not so relevant for you guys. Yeah, that's maybe. So what lies ahead? Maybe if you've seen so far, we've been focusing more on single-based applications, right? And really are in the next 18 months. That's also why the funding side was included. We are currently doing another fundraise, right? And that's why we are really aiming to scale that holistic platform, right? So away from just individual applications supporting that life cycle to that end-to-end solution and really pushing the adoption forward. And yeah, basically what we're looking for is investment and strategic partnerships. So if you guys have any idea, come out, reach us and talk to us. And if you just want to find out more about the metaverse, also come to us, right? It's something that will affect everybody. We are already in a way in the metaverse, right? If you wish, through our phones and internet, just not as immersive and 3D wise, right? And we're still missing the tangibility of digital value, but it's coming. And yeah, that's it basically. Thanks so much, guys. And if you have questions, let me know. Thank you.